Uh, I wanted to make a video, sort of record my thoughts, as well as to share them with anybody that I guess might be getting married soon. It's been almost 300 and maybe 60, no, 355 days or something like that since I proposed to my future wife. And along that time, I've been very worried. I've been scared. I've been anxious. I've been depressed. I've been excited. I've been so many things. And I do consider myself an emotional person. I also identify myself as an avoidant personality disorder person, a person that is prone to depression, a person that is looks at the negative side of things. But I do consider to be those just aspects of my personality, just like little, say for example, little balls in a big box. Because I also identify myself with being very relaxed, very, very forgiving, and very willing to give empathy to people and understand them. And like thinking about doing such a long, such a gigantic change in my life has always been something that I've dreaded, and I'm scared because I always live my life in a sort of like very used to things. Like I've been living in my house. I lived like well, the majority of my life was first spent in 5 years in a house with with my mom, my dad, and my brother. Then my parents split up, and then I lived in another house with just my brother, my mom, and me. And then my little brother came along, and then we moved to another house, and it was just like that was my family, my brother, my little brother, and my mom. And that was like that for a long time until eventually my brother got married and had a kid and moved away. I never considered that I might be getting married at any point until maybe up to 10 years ago when I started going out with people and meeting people. And maybe, actually, I would say that around 10 years ago, that's when my transformation started. I was willing to do something that I was never willing to do. I started going out with someone that was vastly different from me, and anybody that would think of it like if they were looking outside, they would say that was a bad influence on me. She was a drinker, a smoker, but she had her own set of problems, but she was not a bad person, and I really liked a lot of the aspects of being with her, but it was such a difficult relationship, and it made me suffer, it made me sad, but it made me grow, which is something that I'm eternally grateful for. Then I had like some flings, I would say, in between. And well, initially I did like have somebody that kind of like took my virginity, I would say, around age 27, which is the time that I lost my virginity. And it wasn't my girlfriend, it was that my first girlfriend was someone else. You start to learn a lot about you as you come up with these situations, as you start experimenting with life, as you start realizing that how the environment around you affects you and how it molds you and changes you, but you yourself also try to mold and change the environment around you. I always have been a fan of like the serenity prayer that's given to those people is in Alcoholics Anonymous, which goes the Lord give me I think I have to look it up because I never know it. It's like Lord give me the strength to I used to have it on the wall, but I took it to my new house, which I'm going to be moving to in a little bit. And it went oh, there you go. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And if you tell that to anyone at any point, I heard that serenity prayer ages ago because my dad is an alcoholic, and I went with him to AA a couple of times when I was younger, and it sounds like gibberish until you start experimenting with life and then realizing that there are things that you cannot change, that there's the people, that the only things you can probably change are inside of you, or your inner space. Those are the things you have control over. Those are the things you can tell yourself to do, or those are the things you can train yourself to improve. The things that you cannot change do start outside, like people. You can't change people. You're not supposed to change people. You're supposed to let them be, and let them be who they are, and let them and grant them that same sort of respect that you would expect them to give you. And the wisdom to know the difference is that it's like knowing when that's going to happen. Like the other day, I wanted to go out with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while, and he said that maybe not today, because he said that maybe there's like, I don't know, he gave me some sort of excuse, and I was like, okay, then I don't think we'll be able to see each other like in a long time. And I had already planned it. I had already asked him, and I had asked him the day before, are we gonna still out, and are we gonna still go out? And then he said no. And then I felt upset, but I just told him, like, look, if I wish you had told me sooner, that's all, if you did not want to go. And then he felt bad and said, oh no, I do want to go, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, like, he just saw how upset it got me, and he wanted to do something about it. And I told him, look, if there's one thing I do not like, is forcing people to do something they don't want to do. And if you had the intent at the beginning of wanting to do it, then I would be fine with it. But then he was like, no, that's not a problem, it's not a problem. And then eventually he came on his own to just show me that that was all right. And in that way, I felt like, okay, look, I just told you, like, you don't have to come. I don't want to force you. Like, just let this flow. If situations aren't right, if things aren't as they're supposed to be, like, it's all right. Certain situations, everything just lines up and works out perfectly. I felt like that's, in some way, a philosophy in life. But you can do things, of course, to improve your chances of getting things done. But those are things that you can do on your own. Like, I made sure, I asked them several times during the week, are we still going to go out? Are we still going to go out? And then the day of, I asked him, are we still going to go out tonight? Because I had already cleared my schedule, I had already made the time, and those were the things that I could do, assuring that he was there. And then all of a sudden he said no. So of course I felt upset, but I wasn't about to go out with somebody who did not want to be there, and hopefully that he would want to be there. It made him change his tune though, because of course, like, after saying yes so many times, now he's saying no. Of course he's gonna feel a little weird. But yeah, it's something like that happens. So I just need to learn there are things outside of my grasp, and there are things that I can do for certain situations in order to help them out. And pretty much I feel like the wedding has been going along. I had a huge fight with my girlfriend because of certain things that I wasn't aware of. Like, she presented me to all her friends, and I was like, okay, that's great that you have friends. And she wanted me to meet them, wanted me to know them. I don't know if she wanted me to like them, but I didn't really care too much. I mean, I like these people, but they're not in my life, and they don't mean anything. The people that I do have as friends, I'm incredibly protective of. And part of the problem is that I normally don't see them. I normally just message them, just pure text. And and I had already chosen who my best person was going to be. It's going to be a best woman, not a best man. And it was going to be my friend Vicky. And that made her upset because she never met her. She lives in San Francisco. And I live in Costa Rica, which is not easy access. So I told her, like, look, if it's a problem, because we're talking about the toast, who's gonna make the toast? I told her, okay, like, yeah. She said, like, she wanted her mom to make the toast. I said, I want Vicky to make my toast. And she said no, because she doesn't know her. And because what is she gonna say? If she doesn't know me, what she's gonna talk about me if she doesn't know me? Which I could fairly see that point. But this was a toast about me. And I had already told her a lot about her. And I wanted her to talk about me and the situation of the marriage. This person, my best man, my best woman, she was there when my parents weren't, when nobody was. I didn't even have friends, and helping me through one of the most miserable times in my life, which was my time at an office, which was HP. Like, I don't think it's bad. I worked at HP for 8 years, and around 5 of those years, she was there with me. She was always there with me. She was a friend who had my back. And although there's things I don't like about her, I trust her, and that means a lot to me. And that, of course, made her upset, because I just kept saying I do want her to be the best person. And she said no, and I said yes, and we got into this big fight, this huge fight, which had not occurred at any point during the year. But she had been also under a lot of stress because of her work. She had also been planning a lot of the things of the wedding, which I offered help, but the only problem is that I didn't have a vision for the wedding. She had a vision for the wedding. She had a vision for the wedding of how it's supposed to be, so she was planning everything. And if I was there, I would just be like, let's just have one person handle everything, and let's just show up. But no, that's not what she wanted. So, but I support her on that. I don't have that energy to be like, I want this, and this, to be looking at all those details about something that I might not even notice, because it's not those details that I'm looking for. If it was for me, we would only have, like the civil ceremony. I would only have the people that I need to be on the civil ceremony, and that's about it, maybe. I don't know. But as we talked about it and we made like more plans, it just seemed better and better. But the more it got bigger, the more it became a vision of how it's supposed to look, the dress, the decorations, the reception, the singers, the things. There's so many things, and we were all paying for it out of our own pocket, and so it became a strain at some point. This wedding has become like difficult. I don't know. Just be ready that if you're doing this thing as a wedding and you're an active participant, it's going to be somewhat difficult. And sometimes like the bride will be like, she wants your opinion but doesn't really want it. Like, it's just asking you because she wants to feel like you're participating. But in the end, what are you gonna say? Like, no, I don't like that color. I don't like any of this. Unless you actually do care about that stuff, then that's fine. But I didn't care about any of it. I just wanted her to be happy, and in many ways, I do feel like it's her day, and it's my day in a way that at least I'm gonna be eating like really good stuff, and I'm gonna see my friends, and the people that are gonna be there are a selective few, not frenetic amount of people that I don't really know or care about. But yeah, I think I'm ready. I feel like things are gonna go well. And yeah, thank you all for listening.